So I've been testing out another budget carrier for a couple of weeks now that you may or you may not have heard of, and it's called Twigby Mobile. If you're wondering what network they use, that you have definitely heard of because it runs on the Verizon network. When I activated a plan on their service, I honestly wasn't sure what to expect, but after using it for a little while, I can say that it worked as good as other carriers that I've tested, but is it worth it for you? So in this video, I'll walk you through what Twigby Mobile is, what kind of plans they offer, how it performed for me during my time with it, and I also compare what they offer to other carriers that I've tested in the past or have still used, like Visible or US Mobile. So I hope by the end of this video you'll know a little bit more about the service and if you have a pretty good idea of whether or not Twigby is worth switching to. Okay, so Twigby is a smaller prepaid carrier, which on this channel you know is called an MVNO. Again, it runs completely on the Verizon network, which that means that you'll get the exact same towers and the exact same coverage on somebody on a Verizon plan. And I don't know if you've looked recently, but the Verizon plans are a little bit more expensive, like much more expensive. Like you probably don't even want to look kind of expensive. So, okay, I mean, I'm joking. I will show you how expensive a Verizon plan can be. Their top tier plan is $100 per month, and that doesn't include taxes and fees. So that's even extra. Comparing plans, of course, the Verizon plan will have more flashy features, but the core of the plan is what matters, and that is towers and coverage. So Twigby's most expensive plan is $35 per month for comparison. Fun fact about Twigby is that they've actually been around since 2016, and the whole pitch with them is that you can get affordable plans from Verizon without any sort of contracts. They give you the option to bring your own phone or buy a phone directly through them, and then you can also transfer your number or activate a new number, so this is similar to other MVNOs that I have tested. One of the things that stood out to me about Twigby is that they do claim to have 100% US-based customer support, which, considering support is one of the worst features generally of an MVNO, that is definitely a nice plus, because if you've tried to chat with customer service before, yeah, sometimes it feels like you're talking in circles for hours and getting nowhere because they truly are that bad. So yeah, I mean, there's not much fluff and there's not many gimmicks with Twigby. You have the plans and then you have the data, and that's kind of just about it. They offer reliable, affordable Verizon service, and they still have better than average customer support. But it is important to note that the customer service is still just chat and email based. So if you're looking to actually talk to a real human, you're gonna still have to keep looking, to my knowledge. All right, so let's talk about what you actually get for your hard-earned money, because this, in my opinion, can either make or break a service. If you charge too much for too little, people will keep looking. So how does Twigby compare in this regard? Well, it kind of depends. So let's cover the plans first, and then I can explain better. Twigby doesn't really have any planned variations, or they don't advertise them that way. Like, looking on their website, there's no such thing as Twigby Plus or Twigby Plus Pro Max, just simply the data and then the price per month that you pay for that data. And then everything else about the plans looks like it remains the same, which does make it very simple to cover, I will say. They have a few different options for data depending on how much data you might need. So for light users, you can get 2 gigabytes of data for $15 per month. For slightly heavier users, which kind of sounds bad, but anyway, you get 5 gigabytes of data for $20 per month. So for even larger users, you can get 10 gigabytes of data for $25 per month, and then they're absolutely heavy users, you can get unlimited data for just $35 per month. Now, there is a little bit more than meets the eye with these plans, and I will talk about that in just a minute. But first, I want to cover what other features are included with these plans. So as advertised on their website, all plans include unlimited talk and text, 5G, and side note, when I was testing the 5G, I saw the 5G ultra wideband option pop up, which is great to see. They also include Wi-Fi calling and texting, a mobile hotspot, unlimited talk and text to 80 plus international countries, unlimited global text, a voicemail, and some other standard features like caller ID, call waiting, call forwarding, and then the text support that I mentioned. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the pricing and the data options again. So earlier when I talked about that there's more to these plans than kind of meets the eye, I'm not talking about transformers, I'm talking about taxes and fees, because those are actually not included in the prices, which is always a bit unfortunate because that means with the service, the advertised price is not in reality what you are 100% paying for. The taxes and fees are not huge, to be fair, but yeah, they're definitely there, and in my opinion, every little bit counts. So what are they? We'll go over the taxes and fees. Well, thanks to the handy dandy broadband facts sheet, which I think is actually the best thing since sliced bread, the fees range from $2 to $3 per month. Taxes, vary by each state, but for example, I live in Wisconsin, which has a sales tax rate of 5.5%. So the taxes and fees included in that price would bring up the $35 unlimited plan to be $39.37. On screen, I'll put all of the calculations of every single type of their plan with the taxes and fees included for Wisconsin, which is my state, so that will kind of give you a good idea, but just know that it will be a little bit different for everybody watching because it does depend on where you live. On the first 3 tiers of their plans, I don't really have that much to say about that because they're pretty straightforward, but while on the topic of data and pricing, I did also want to bring up the unlimited plan. So they have an unlimited plan for $35 per month. It's called unlimited, so I'm assuming that means unlimited, right? Well, not exactly. So again, if you're looking at the handy dandy broadband fact sheet, if you scroll down to the unlimited data plan, after 20 gigabytes of high-speed data usage during one billing cycle, the data speeds are reduced and the hotspot is not supported. And this is just 20 gigabytes. So essentially that means if you use more than 20 gigabytes in 1 month, the plan data is not really that usable and it's extremely slow. This is definitely a bit sad to see because 20 gigabytes isn't really an enormous amount, and I do wish it would just kind of be advertised as 20 gigabytes instead of just unlimited, because I think that would be more clear. It does feel a bit misleading because it does say unlimited. I think it really should just say 20 gigabytes, but hopefully they will be able to bump that up a little bit because 20 gigabytes does seem a little bit low. Like if it was 30 gigabytes or 40 gigabytes, for example, which is an amount that I feel like most people would not hit, I would be a little bit more open to the pricing of this particular plan. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on to coverage. Coverage-wise, this is where Twigby's biggest strength lies, which is Verizon's network. You're getting one of the largest and then the most reliable networks in the country, which is a big deal in and of itself. When I was testing and using this as my daily driver for a couple of weeks, the signal strength was pretty much solid everywhere. Calls were very clear. My text messages always went through pretty much instantly, and the data speeds were surprisingly consistent. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was connected to 5G, I was even seeing the UW in the top corner of my phone, which means ultra wideband. And if you don't know what that means, it means very freaking fast data. So when you see that, all things are good there. Now, just like all of the MVNOs that I've tested, your data can get deprioritized during the times of heavy network traffic. So basically, if Verizon's networks get busy, their customers get priority over you. But for me, in where I live, I didn't really notice that at all, so it wasn't a deal breaker because that might depend on what part of the country you live in. I ended up making an entire video on the Twigby activation process, so if you're interested in how that went, you could check that out. But now I want to talk about how Twigby compares to the other MVNO options that I've tested or that I may have used in the past. Alright, so how does Twigby stack up against something like Visible or US Mobile, since all three can use Verizon's network? Visible has 3 types of plans that range from $25, $35, and $45 per month. All 3 of the plans are truly unlimited. And yeah, I do actually mean unlimited, meaning you don't have to worry about any sort of data caps. The higher plans can get you faster data speeds and more priority data in busy areas. Visible is definitely stronger in a bunch of areas, and if you want and need truly unlimited data and you don't want to worry about it, that is the plan to go with. Twigby, on the other hand, is perfect for people who don't really need unlimited data. If you're using under 10 gigabytes of data each month, you can save a lot of money with Twigby instead of paying for data you don't use, and you still get the great Verizon network. Now for US Mobile, they're kind of the premium version of prepaid in my opinion. They have a bunch of plan customization options, from low data plans to high-speed unlimited data ones. Their higher tier unlimited plans come with different sort of perks, like hotspot, faster speeds, and even streaming credits for certain items. US Mobile is great for tech-savvy users who want to kind of tweak everything and have lots of options. But for the average person who just wants something simple, Twigby is easier to set up and understand for an average person. If I haven't said it before, US Mobile is great, but it actually almost has too many options and it can be a bit overwhelming to an average person, in my opinion. So to sum it up, I would say Twigby is best for light to moderately light users who want simplicity and truly US-based customer support. Visible is a better alternative for moderate to heavy data users who truly want unlimited data. And then US Mobile is better for people who want access to customize every detail of their cell phone carrier. So at the end of the day, Twigby impressed me more than I expected when it came to their data and their coverage, but it did let me down when it came to their fee and their tax structure, as well as their truly unlimited data plan not being truly unlimited, which is not quite as advertised. Sure, it's not the most feature-packed or the flashiest option out there, but it does nail the basics. So if you're looking for a dependable service at a good price that is a bit simpler, Twigby definitely nails those things. If you do want to check them out, I'll have my affiliate link down in the description. Using that link helps support the channel at no extra cost to you, and it also gives you access to Twigby's latest deals and discounts, so it's a win-win if you're thinking about signing up. Anyway, that's it for this one. So if it helped you out, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope your day is as pleasant as you are.